Now, the New England Patriots have had a bit of a carousel at the defensive coordinator position, but that's not true when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. After being fired as the head coach of the Denver Broncos and having a miserable single season in St. Louis, Josh McDaniels has been the consistent rock in New England since 2014. And with it almost certain that he'll be departing this offseason, the Patriots could reunite with an old friend in Bill O'Brien. Now, I think it's important to say that the Patriots offense had a lot of success under O'Brien. He was really the one who was able to execute the Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez tandem. And as we saw this year, Josh McDaniels didn't really execute the Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith tandem. Now, Brian M. Himes of Pat's Pulpit wrote, internally, there does not seem to be an obvious replacement. Besides McDaniels, the Patriots' current offensive coaches staff features 0 coaches with play calling experience. Wide receiver coach Mike Lombardi would likely be a top candidate if the team did plan to elevate from within, but it might be a best look to go outside the organization at a familiar name in Bill O'Brien. Under O'Brien, the Patriots' offense was largely successful, ranking 6th, 1st, and 3rd in scoring. Now, while the team did feature Tom Brady and an assortment of other weapons, there is reason for optimism for similar success within the current Patriots offense. Now, we all know that Bill O'Brien had a miserable ending as a head coach to the Texans. However, I think it was less about him being a coach and more about him being a general manager. And he also had some early interest from the Jacksonville Jaguars, but that he's obviously fallen out of favor for. And here's what Chase Goodbread wrote about that on NFL.com. It said, Bill O'Brien interviewed for the job earlier this month and was amongst a lengthy list of candidates to the club sought to interview, including Cowboys coordinators Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn, Buccaneers coordinator Brian Leftwich and Todd Bowles, Colts defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus, Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, and former NFL head coaches Doug Peterson and Jim Caldwell. The team also planned to interview interim coach Darrell Bevell. Garofalo, speaking on NFL.com, said that, quote, not getting the vibe from the sources that O'Brien would be with the team's choice, despite the presumption that he's a favorite candidate amongst Jaguars general manager Trent Baalke, whatever, per Garofalo. The Jaguars have completed their first round of interviews and are entering the second phase of the stretch with follow-up interviews. The Jaguars finished 3-14 and now hold the number 1 pick of the NFL draft for the second consecutive year. Bill O'Brien would be, I think, a fresh dose of blood to the Patriots offense. There's a lot of people out there who want to see Josh McDaniels move on. There's a lot of Raider fans who don't, because that's where he's favored to go. I think that Bill O'Brien would be a good fit as the offensive coordinator of the Patriots. We're not bringing him back as the general manager. They're not bringing him back as the head coach. They're bringing him back as the OC, and I think he'd be a perfect fit.